So, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Turn Five podcast. We've had a week off of racing action, so now we're back on the pre-race build-up sessions. This week we'll be discussing mine and Ben's thoughts on Drive to Survive. Chris is at a game, and Nia has a headache, so it's just me and Ben this week.
Oh, so you said, right, yeah, that makes more sense. I thought you said it was on a game. So I was like, why is he playing a
That
game?
that that
Just
was
stop
his
playing the
exact
game.
that was his exact wording. But he is offline, so we cannot see whether he's actually playing a game or not. Either way, we will start with Drive to Survive. Then we'll discuss some of the news from around the sporting motorsport world. And then we'll get on to our predictions ahead of this weekend's return to Saudi Arabia, which,
Right.
well, let's say we'll hope it's less explosive than the last couple of years.
But I think Netflix, to start with, they've done a very, very good job of not including that whatsoever.
I know. It's amazing, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
almost like they were told not to include any of that drama. Hmm. Hmm. Suspicious. Right. So, yeah, let's start. Drive to Survive. Episode one was, hang on, I've got the list here. Episode one, The New Dawn, all about the new chapter of the cars
Mm,
and the whole overhaul and everything. And also the last minute drive switch for Haas.
yeah, very cool.
Gunter's, I'm not dealing with any more Russians until I die.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's a great quote.
Yeah.
Um, you also had the road trip of Binotto and Gunter. That was
Yes.
a friendship I didn't expect, but I love every minute of it.
It's probably the best bit of the season, to be honest.
And it's also the fact in episode 2 when they're on about porpoising, they're both sat next to each other in the meeting as well. And
Yes.
Gunter is so close to Binotto. It's like they're almost holding hands. It's incredible.
Uh, yeah. So, I mean, there was a lot of, we'll call them Buxtonisms in the first
Yeah.
episode. I mean, Netflix has a tendency, I kind of feel sorry for Will in a way. Like he knows a lot and he is a very intelligent person when it comes to Formula One and stuff. But Netflix just take the most benign, basic quotes they can from him, and I don't know, sort of make him sound a bit
They
dumb.
must recycle it year on year because, yet again, he says,
You want to start
like, you
in
want
the
to
front.
start on pole
Yeah,
because
I
you
know
started at the front.
that's got to be from like season two.
And then to win the race, you have to go first.
A classic.
I reckon they should just get Michael Owen in to do that.
Yeah, true.
Just let him
So
take the.
so that was the start of it, and it was everyone looking at each other's cars, and Seb Vettel describing the Mercedes as a dropped ball of dough that just accurate. So then we had episode two. And we got to see the Mercedes's troubles with porpoising. And
Mercedes downfall.
yeah, not a graceful fall from heights for Toto, has it?
Mm. But then there's also the drama of Netflix as well. You got to take that into account.
I do
There's
take that
some
into
plus
account,
points.
but also I feel this year Toto is a lot more. He's been humbled, I think, and
Yeah.
he's now off the high horse, and now that he's been off it for a while, he's had to adjust his attitude because they're not the biggest stick swingers in the paddock anymore because their car has been awful, and that's their fault, and he has to take responsibility for that at the end of the day because team principals make the big decisions when it comes to design route and well, most things with the whole team structure, really. Um, but last year you sort of saw the angry, um, dejected sort of we're not going to give this up fight of him, and now he's sort of settled into his lower front pack role, and honestly I think it's better.
Yeah, I mean, that's where they were when he took them on, you could say, in 2013,
Yeah,
being sort of the front of midfield and then trying to fight for a win. So he's been there before and he's built them up, so he could do it again.
yeah, yeah. It was just yeah, I don't know the way he, the combination of what you see on Netflix and the way he acted in press conferences and
Yeah,
interviews
you can
last
see
year.
emotionally it took a toll.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of taking a toll, episode 3, Ferrari, and what a toll that seems to have taken on Leclerc. Good lord.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is this. We got to discuss it because Silverstone, like, I know a lot of things happened at Silverstone, but did we need to see Silverstone 3 times?
Um, maybe.
Like, considering what we didn't see.
Yeah, we didn't see Brazil
Exactly. There was no Brazil
hardly
content.
any.
There was no Saudi Arabia content, but
Yeah, and there was no Austria content for Mix episode either. What's
no.
that about?
So, yeah,
It's a
wrong.
whole lot of Britain and Bahrain.
Yeah, and Monaco.
Yeah, and Monaco. That is the pinnacle of motorsport.
I think that's one of the things that annoys me most about Drive to Survive is that they glitz up the Monaco Grand Prix like it's amazing when in reality it's
Well,
usually quite
it was
boring.
all right. It was
It
all
was all
right.
right last year because it was wet
Yeah.
and because Checo had issues and because Ferrari ballsed it up.
Yeah. But
But
I'm quite surprised at like the Ferrari strategy thing because they're saying that Binotto's the head and he calls the strategy. But surely that's not. Surely he doesn't. He might have final say on strategy.
yeah, that's what they're sort of getting at
But
is that
then, why is the strategist in the first place telling him that strategy?
well, it's like
And I
you,
know that
you used
he
to hear
picks
it.
that strategy, but like, why are you
Yeah,
bringing it to him in the first place?
it's like when you hear the discussions between like James Vowles and Toto. It's like, do we actually want to do this? And they're like, yeah, do it. So,
Yeah.
um, then we had episode 4, which was the Mick episode. Um,
Big up K Mag.
big up K Mag for sticking up for
God.
Mick, but Gene Haas is probably on most Schumacher fans' hit
Yeah.
lists now.
Netflix also made out like Mick crashed in every single race that he done.
Yeah, that was not cool. So then we had 2 episodes on Oscar Piastri.
That was fun.
Mm. Way to make an impact on the Netflix series, huh?
Yeah, you had Mr. Zach Brown Storm in Alpine. From Ricardo. That was so good. I think that was one of my favorite moments of Drive to Survive. Is like be like, "What drivers are you looking into?" And he just said, "What about Ricardo?"
You can have him.
Yeah, he's so good.
But also Zach is, I don't know, the way he sort of handled it. Not a
Yeah,
fan.
it's not. Yeah, but it's McLaren, so I've got
Yeah.
to. They've done the wrong thing in a way. Well, they didn't really do the wrong thing. It's just, Danny's a great personality,
Mm.
but the results weren't there, sadly.
But the paddock's missing it now because we've lost Seb and Danny.
Yeah, they should have filmed Seb more. Actually, they had that moment in Mix episode where they're saying, when Mix down, who do you go to? And then they first show Seb, it's like, yes. More about that. And then they just didn't.
And then they showed him
until
crashing into
after.
Seb.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, done him dirty there. Then we had Checo's episode because of his contract extension and the uncertainty around that. And then he won Monaco. So that was when they signed the extension.
It would have been fun to go into like Max being in their debate about Monaco because there's this stuff around Brazil and Max not giving Checo the position because of Monaco. And all we really seen was Checo crashing qualifying and Max being annoyed. And that was it.
I mean, yeah, that was about it. I mean, we got to see more of Max.
Yeah.
So much so that they've put him on like the thumbnail for the whole series.
Clever Netflix, very clever.
But I mean, it was just another. It wasn't much of a muchness episode. It was just, oh, Checo's had a couple of iffy results. Is he going to continue? And then he gets a win, and it's like,
no, they done him dirty at Saudi Arabia because they went, oh, he went from first to fourth.
Yeah, not including a red flag
car.
and a safety car and pit stops and like, come on. It's not just as simple as he lost 3 positions. He got done in.
Dirty.
So then we had Yuki's episode after Gasly announced his departure, and all about also, the dynamic in the team when Nick De Vries signs.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about that. Nick De Vries sort of talked down to Yuki.
I like that. I mean, Yuki's been in your dream job for a couple of years now, so I'd pipe down there, sunshine.
And he's also started off the bat with beating him coming 11th, and Nick De Vries somewhere like 16th or something, wasn't it? And all he's done is one Formula E.
14th, yeah.
Shocking.
Yeah, mad, isn't it?
So I'm jumping on the Yuki bandwagon, hoping that he demolishes Nick De Vries now, because that was out of order from him.
Yeah. Speaking of out of order, that was one of the buzz phrases of episode 9. Red Bull had gone over the cost cap limit, and Christian was basically going around saying everyone's out of order when they'd overspent. But to be fair play to Netflix for actually like letting them give the numbers so everyone knows it's not like stupidly much money. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but like, you know, an overspend is an overspend.
What they say is like 0.6%.
Something stupidly small like that, yeah. But it was a 15 times amount that they fined them for their, like the amount they got fined compared to the amount they overspent.
Yeah, well, they got fined 7 mil.
Yeah. Where's the?
Because they spent 400k on catering. Unreal. Could not write it.
Did I have that saved somewhere? No. Damn. I thought I had it now. But yeah, no, it was like a 15 times overspend. So I want to see, as soon as anyone else overspends, I want to see a 15 times. Because if it's not, then, I mean, Red Bull have grounds to be rather annoyed. Especially if the opposition's overspend is bigger and they get fined less. Or even if the overspend is bigger, but they get fined the same, then it's like, come on. So
yeah, it's a bit harsh. That would be a bit harsh.
Especially in conjunction with like the wind tunnel and the CFD penalties as well. And then episode 10 was like the most boring thing ever.
Yeah,
it was so much nothing, but much like the way Formula One is contracted to end in Abu Dhabi, thus so must Netflix. And they tried their best to make it into some kind of story, but the best they could manage was Ferrari fending off Mercedes, who were pretty much out of it anyway, and McLaren trying
tried
to overtake Alpine, which
they
would have
tried
taken a
so
1-2,
hard.
and like
They
no,
tried so hard on the McLaren Alpine rivalry because of like the Piastri fiasco and all of that. They tried so hard, and McLaren would have had to get both cars in the top five with an Alpine coming ninth or below.
yeah.
And then like they show Alonso breaking down.
And you're thinking, oh my god.
Like, oh, Lando's in seventh, and oh, so close. And then Danny's in ninth. Wow, they were so close to that fourth spot.
Yeah. Not. So no, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean that was Netflix. I don't know. Season 5 was, I think the first
They
couple of
ended
seasons
on
were the
a
best.
they ended on a Ricardo montage.
Where's the Seb content? Seb actually
Well, they
retired.
actually showed Seb at the end of the episode. It was like coming soon or something. So I
But
feel like they might do Seb next year, which doesn't really make sense.
he retired. Like, you gave Danny Rick a montage. He's still a reserve driver. He's around.
Unless they just give Seb a whole like documentary to himself.
That's what I was thinking. I discussed it because I discussed it with a friend. I was like, "There's going to be a documentary. There's no way you can like even if it's not done by the Drive to Survive team. There's going to be a documentary because of how good his career was."
Yeah, but I won 4 titles in a row.
Yeah,
That's mental.
it's like there's what 4 people have done that.
I want to say there was 3. It's a very small number.
Because it's
I know there's
Lewis,
him, Lewis, and
Michael,
then Michael. Yeah,
and I think Fangio.
yeah, Fangio. So there's probably 4.
Because then there's only like a couple of others that did like 3. Or did everyone that do 3 in a row did 4 in a row?
Yeah, so there's 4. Fangio,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Fangio, Schumacher, Hamilton, and Seb. And obviously Verstappen has a chance to join it next year if he wins it this year.
Mm. Which I mean,
Which he
going
should
for
win it this year.
yeah, going for 3, I don't see as much of an issue. The 4th will very much depend on the 2 teams. Well, now sort of 3 teams directly behind them, by virtue of Ferrari, Aston Martin, and McLaren, Mercedes.
Yeah,
I can dream, Harold.
The new wind tunnel's coming in strong.
Yeah, they're just behind them after they've done that. Yeah. But I mean, even the wind tunnel coming online, Martin Brundle's not confident about that. So, because he said if you put bad designs in, you get bad designs out.
That's true.
Yeah, you can't really argue with him there.
That's true.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be a while before. I mean, okay, it'll depend on how good this new package is that they're bringing in like 6 races time. Because they were like, oh, we found a different development route. And it's like, are you sure? Or did you just like design half a car and then go, man, we're so bad? And then just give up? Because what happened?
I don't think we'll ever get back to the top. We just can't see it.
Well, that was the whole thing. Is like we were on an upward trajectory, and Zach's supposed to be bringing the team back to like its
And then
heyday.
they changed the bloody rules.
And
it cost us.
The biggest losers.
Yeah.
But like, even with the change of rules, like Zach should have been keeping the team on the upward trajectory. We should be closer to the top now than ever before. Instead, we're at the back. We are last.
Well, to be fair, we've probably kept around the same gap. It's just that everyone
else has improved. Yeah. So,
because it was about a second gap and there probably still is a rounders they can get.
Yeah, it's just now it's a second per sector, not per lap.
Yeah, yeah,
So
pure mediocrity.
still, right. You had some news.
Yes, I'll start with a F1 esports driver from Williams called Alvaro Cariton was live streaming a league race, I'm guessing, and he got caught cheating on his own stream because he brought up the game files and proceeded to show a grip hack and then switched it off very quickly, smiled at his chat, and then from this, he's brought out a statement saying that he's helping test these cheats for EA and Codemasters, which is why he has them, which is possibly the greatest excuse I've ever heard.
That is wow. Yeah.
Why'd you have them cheats if you're testing
Why
them for them?
why would you even try and like blame the developers of the game? It could only get more wild if Cody's were like, actually, yeah.
Yeah, actually was. Instead of trying to create something to stop the cheats, they're just like, just get
Let's
them
make some
to
cheats.
test them.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
That's quality. And then also Jensen's back in
Yep.
NASCAR Cup Series, doing 3 races, starting at COTA on the 26th of March, then a Chicago street race on the 2nd of July, and rounding off at Indianapolis on the 13th of August, doing the road course, which was the same as the F1 when they run there. So,
good old 2005.
Yep, it'd be fun to watch NASCAR. I've never said a bad word about it.
And Kimmy's racing as well, so
yeah,
fun for all the family.
hopefully it's on Sky, but I don't know if it will be.
Well, the IndyCar's on Sky.
Yeah, but that's not NASCAR, is it?
Well, sometimes the NASCAR's on. It might just be on like Mix or like Action or something.
Yeah, considering Jensen's driving, they probably should show it.
You'd like to think.
I'll be asking Sky Sports saying, where is the support of Jensen?
Come on, he's one of your pundits.
Yeah.
Is he still on the roster for this year?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good for that.
Sadly, Nico Rosberg is as well.
Yeah, so
he's the next Ford Resta now, isn't he? Like, get him out.
Yeah, it's gonna go that way, isn't it? Yeah. So. Oh god. But, right. Any other news?
No, I think that was all.
Perfect.
Gene has. Why am I saying Gene? Fred Vasseur. Sorry.
Fred, Gene, Fred.
Yeah,
the same thing.
I've just got an agenda against Gene Haas in my head now.
Fact.
Fred Vasseur said that he thinks Ferrari is going to be closer to Red Bull.
Well, Charles surely hoped so because he was in the pits.
I mean, as long as they don't break down, I think they might be.
Well, they were good here last time.
Yeah, they did. Did they win? They did win,
no.
Did they? No. Because they were doing the little DRS.
Max won. Then it was
Leclerc and then Sainz.
Yeah, I was going to say double Ferrari.
Yeah,
then it was Paris.
On the Netflix episode of Paris, they're like, a Ferrari double podium. Or is it on the Ferrari one? I think it might have been on the Ferrari one. Though. Good race for Ferrari double podium. It's like Verstappen won the race. How was that good?
they sort of only just outscored Red Bull. Whoa.
Yeah, but then Paris got 4th. So then...
Yeah, but it was a good race because nothing went wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at it in hindsight, and it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
So, right, predictions.
You're gonna start with the other 2 that aren't here.
Yeah, we'll run them through. So, pole and podium. Chris Everyone has gone for Verstappen pole so far. So Chris, Nia, and Sonia all have put Verstappen on pole. Chris and Nia have both selected the same podium of Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc. Sonia has gone a slightly different route. Verstappen, Alonso, Leclerc. Why not? Why not? Ben, what are you going to go for?
I've gone on pole Verstappen.
Mm-hmm.
And then podium, I've just realised that I've put the exact same podium as last year in Verstappen, Leclerc, and Sainz.
I too am going Verstappen podium pole, then Verstappen, Verstappen, Leclerc, Alonso. Back-to-back P3s. That's what I'm gunning for here. Mel from Fastest Lap said Verstappen pole, Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc podium. It's a popular combo this week. And Vox has gone for Tsunoda pole, Tsunoda, Norris, Bottas podium.
I'd be all for that. I'd be fine with that.
I'd be okay with that. I'd be amazed. Bold predictions. Chris has said red flag within 10 laps. Nia has said both Williams in the points. You are saying
both Ferraris in top 4.
And I'm going to say Perez is going to get shafted by another safety car. Which is a very precise thing to happen, but this is when it's Max's turn.
Yeah.
Perez wins the race. Lap down showdown. Who have you got?
Well, I first put Piastri, but I didn't want to put Piastri. I wanted to do well. So then I've swapped him for Magnussen on lap 38, 1 lap down.
Should be said there are 50 laps of racing at this circuit. Chris and Nia have both, of racing. Chris and Nia have both gone for Hulkenberg. Nia has deployed El Clasico of 25 laps and 2 laps down. Chris has gone for 35 and 1. I am going to pick. De Vries hasn't driven here before, has he? We're going to go for Nick De Vries.
Actually, wait, when did you do F2? 20.
Yeah, but Saudi Arabia's not been on the calendar that long, has it?
Since 2021, it's been on the calendar.
Yeah, and he was champion before that. Yeah. So I'm going to say Nick De Vries.
Race that in Formula E. Was that this year they started there?
No, because they race at a different circuit.
Do they?
They race in Diriyah.
You're telling me they have a street circuit
in
Saudi Arabia, and they don't even use the street circuit the F1 uses?
I'm going to say 30 and 1 lap down. So that wraps it up for this week of the Turn 5 podcast. Join us next week when we'll be discussing all of the reaction to the Formula 1 and Formula 2 action, as both of those series are in action this week. I tried to think of a different way of saying that, but failed miserably. Then we have another week off of racing before we go to Australia.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be no.
It's broken
this weekend.
Here comes the big censorship.
Right. Oh, that should have been my bold prediction. Oh,
God.
Prime opportunity.
It was, but you missed it. Anyway,
yeah.
Thank you all for listening and or watching.
Late now.
Until next time, goodbye.